Turbo Girl, do you know your multiplication table of 5?
Yes, I do. It is so easy. I had already learnt it by heart. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60. Why did you ask?
Because today, I want to teach you how to read time.
How to read time? What has it got to do with multiplication table of 5?
Look at this clock carefully. Can you see the numbers on the face of the clock?
Yes,
Can you tell me how many numbers are there?
there are 12 numbers.
That's right. Okay, now that I am sure you know the multiplication table of 5 and the face of the clock well, I can go on to teach you today's lesson. Are you ready to start?
Yes, I can't wait to find out what multiplication table of 5 has to do with time.
Now, Turbo Girl, looking at the clock face, can you tell me what are the pink and green hands for?
This I know. The pink hand, which is shorter, is showing us the hour, but the longer green hand is showing us the minute. Am I right?
Very good. The pink hand is the hour hand, and the green hand is the minute hand. Since both hands are pointing at the same set of 12 numbers, it means that the numbers stand for both hours and minutes.
I am confused, teacher.
Alright, let me explain. When the hour hand moves from 1 to 2, it means 1 hour has passed. However, when the minute hand moves from 1 to 2, 5 minutes have passed. The minutes on the clock face follow the multiplication table of 5.
Teacher, can you give me an example?
Suppose you wake up daily at this time. Do you know what time is it?
I know that the pink hand tells us the hour and the green hand tells us the minute. So the time should be 7.2.
You are only partly correct. The hour hand is near to 7. So you have got the hour part correct. However, when the minute hand is pointing at 2, we can't say it is 2 minutes.
Why not?
You've forgotten that minutes shown on the clock face related to multiplication table of 5. 2 times 5 is 10. So we have to read it as 7:10.
Oops, I forgot. So the time is 7:10 in the morning.
Now, why don't you try telling me what is the time on this clock?
It's 12:25.
Write it down. Good. It is 25 minutes because 5 times 5 is 25. Now, look at this clock. Are you able to tell me the time?
I'm not too sure. I know that it is 40 minutes, but the hour hand is not pointing at 1 nor pointing at 2. How?
You need to know that whenever the minute hand has moved after 6, the hour hand is nearer to the next hour. That is why the hour hand is nearer to 2. We still read the time as 1:40 and not 2:40 because it is not 2 yet.
Oh, I see.
Turbo Girl, can you draw for me the hands on this clock face to show 2:55?
Let me try. 2:55. So the hour hand should be pointing at 2 and the minute hand should be at 11. Okay, I finished drawing.
Now you have drawn the minute hand pointing at 11, and that is correct. But you have drawn the hour hand wrongly. It should not be pointing at 2, as 2:55 is nearly 3 o'clock. So you should draw the hour hand pointing nearer to 3 instead of 2, like this.
I think I know now. I'll be more careful in future.
Do you remember that at the beginning of the lesson, I had asked you what time you wake up every morning?
Yes, it is 7:10.
Good. You wake up every morning at 7:10. Do you know that we use AM to talk about time before 12 noon? So when you wake up at 7:10 every morning, it means you wake up at 7:10 AM every day.
Now I get it. Every day I wake up at 7:10 a.m.
Yes. Now can you tell me what time your mother leaves for the markets every morning?
She leaves for the market at 9:45 a.m. Since a.m. is used to talk about time in the morning, so what about afternoon and evening?
From 12 noon onwards, we use p.m. to talk about the time. Now, tell me what time you will leave for school every day. Draw the hour hand and minute hand on the clock face.
The time I leave for school is 12:05.
Since the time you leave for school has already passed 12 noon, so you should use p.m. to tell the time. Therefore, the time you leave for school is 12:05 p.m. Very good.
There is so much baking ingredient here, teacher. What are you going to bake?
I'm going to bake some bread for afternoon tea.
Oh, I love having freshly baked bread. Can I help?
Sure. I'm going to start by mixing the flour, baking powder, and some water in a mixing bowl. Now that I have mixed these ingredients together, I will knead the dough. Then I will have to cover the dough and let it rest.
How long will that be? When will it be ready?
Well, that should take about 20 minutes. It is 9:10 now. The dough should be ready at 30 minutes after 9 a.m.
Okay, what do we do after that?
After that, we put it into the oven to bake for about 30 minutes and then take it out to let it cool for about 1 hour.
I see. Teacher, it is now 30 minutes after 9 a.m. Can I put the dough into the oven to bake now?
Yes, but we do wear the oven gloves and be careful as the oven is very hot.
Yes, teacher.
Look, the bread is ready. Let me take it out of the oven to cool it down. What time is it now, Turbo Girl?
It is now 10 a.m.
We started baking at 9 a.m., which is 1 hour before 10 a.m. And now we have to wait for the bread to cool for 1 hour, which will be 11 a.m.
11 a.m. is 1 hour after 10 a.m. So that means it takes us about 2 hours to bake a loaf of bread.
That's right, Turbo Girl. Hey, looks like you are getting good at reading and calculating time.
Thanks, teacher. I can't wait to sink my teeth into this delicious bread that we have baked.
Me too, Turbo Girl. But let's learn a bit more about time before we start eating. Have you noticed that we use words like before and after to tell time?
Yes, teacher. I was trying to work out when to use before and after to tell time.
Well, let me explain to you using this clock. It was 9 o'clock when we started baking. Time passed by as we mixed the ingredients and let the dough rest. Look, now the time is no longer 9. I can read the time as 30 minutes after 9 o'clock as it is past 9. However, it is not 10 o'clock yet, so I can also read the time as 30 minutes before 10 o'clock.
I see. So, when I compare the time now with the time earlier, I use after. And when I compare the time now and with the time later, I use before.
Well, you can say so. We can say the same for hours as well, like 9 a.m. is 1 hour before 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. is 1 hour after 10 a.m.
Thanks, teacher. I'm clearer about using after and before to tell time now.
We have come to the end of today's lesson. Turbo Girl, can you remember what you have learned?
I have learned to tell time in hours and minutes. Minutes are shown on the clock face in multiples of 5. So, where the minute hand is pointing at 3, it is 15 minutes. I also know now that I use AM when I talk about time before 12 noon, and I use PM to talk about time after 12 noon.
Good. What about using after and before to talk about time?
When I compare the time now with the time earlier, I use after because time has passed. But when I compare the time now with the time later, I use before.
Good job, Turbo Girl. Let's enjoy our freshly baked bread with some hot chocolate now.